Good morning, TOK. What do you know? So, today we're going to be continuing our discussion of identity. And by continuing, I'm assuming that you've completed the February 18th lesson that you received an email about, and you've watched the Crash Course Philosophy video number 18, The Ship of Theseus. If you haven't completed that lesson, including posting to Padlet, please go do that now before you continue with this lesson, or quite honestly, it's not going to make a whole lot of sense. Good. Now I'm assuming that you have done that. We're going to take the concepts of identity that we talked about previously, and we're going to apply those concepts to personal identity. This is even more challenging. There are more variables. We may be perfectly fine talking about a ship or a car or a tree, but when we talk about people, saying a person is not a person or not the same person, or that you are not the same you that you were yesterday, raises some serious objections in many people's minds. So we're going to dive deep into this today. Now, before we move on with this presentation, you need to go and watch the Crash Course Philosophy video 19 on personal identity. I have included the link in today's email. I am not going to paste these entire videos into our presentations here because I want to preserve the copyrights. And also, I want the excellent Crash Course people to get the revenue and recognition that comes with the individual clicks as you guys watch those directly through YouTube. So please go and watch the video 19 personal identity. Okay, so, you know this course only works if when I ask you to read something or to watch something or to listen to something that you watch it, read it, or listen to it, right? I mean, it's an honor system, but when we get together and do our workshops and when you guys do your presentations and write your TOK essays, it's going to be pretty obvious if you haven't done the work. So please, go do the work. Thank you. All right. So one of the ideas that Hank talked about in the personal identity video is the idea of persistence of memory. That the fact that you have a unbroken record of your memories tracing backwards in time is one of the ways that you know that you're you. One of the ways you define yourself is by your accumulation of memories. And memory isn't really well understood. There are several theories about how we form and process and store memories. There's no clear clinical consensus as to which of these theories is best. Some really out there ideas have been proposed, and many of those have been thrown out. But do check the dates on your sources when you're reading articles and information about memory, because it's still something that the more we study, the more we realize we don't know. Now, that doesn't mean that we can't understand memory, that memory is some kind of sealed black box where things go in and come out. And we have no idea what's happening behind the scenes. There are some useful analogies that can help us with concepts of how memories are created, how they're stored, how they're accessed. One of these was recently, well, I say recently, in the last several years. One of these was featured in a Pixar film, which I hope that you have seen because it's excellent, called Inside Out.
Anyway, these are Riley's memories, and they're mostly happy, you'll notice, not to brag. But the really important ones are over here. I don't want to get too technical, but these are called core memories. Each one came from a super important time in Riley's life. Like when she first scored a goal. Oh, that was so amazing.
Hey, would you look at that? Very nice.
And each core memory powers a different aspect of Riley's personality. Like Hockey Island. Goofball Island is my personal favorite.
Come back here, you little monkey. Oh, you're silly.
Yep, Goofball is the best.
Okay, time to throw ourselves for a loop here. If one of the ways that we maintain our self-conception, our understanding of ourselves, is by this persistence of memory, what happens when there's no persistence of memory? Memories can be lost, they can be changed, even just interruptions. If the idea of a constant chain of memory back into the past is an important part of our identity, what happens when that chain is broken? How do we assess our identity when we don't have a unbroken chain of custody, when there's gaps into which possible mysteries could slide? So again, we have this idea of persistent memory that I personally don't have a lot of early memories. My family moved to Texas from Syracuse, New York, when I was very young, somewhere around 3 years old. I honestly don't remember moving. I have just a bare handful of memories from my youth in New York. Most of those reinforced by stories that I've been told and retold later in my life. But accurate firsthand memories are very minimal for me. Some people form memories very quickly. I know folks who have distinct memories from their very early years. I know somebody who clearly remembers details of her second birthday, so 24 months old. Most of y'all are 17 years old, give or take. So I want you to imagine the chain of memory that connects the moment you're in right now to yesterday, to the day before, to the week before, the year before, all the way back to your earliest memories. You think of yourself as being the passenger, the pilot who drove your life through that chain of connected memories from the past through the present and towards the future. But what if I told you that your entire memory system was rebooted over 5,000 times? That some 5,500 or so times, your brain shut down its conscious memory, and then later it rebooted, reconnected the memory banks, and to fill the gaps in those shutdowns, it just ignored them or even made up estimates to fill in the gaps. It used circumstantial evidence to reconstruct what must have happened, but there are no active memories. This puts a big dent in the persistent memory idea. Of course, these reboots I'm talking about are sleeps. If you're about 17 years old, you have around something over 5,000 nights of sleep, give or take. What this means is for hours at a time, your brain shut down, or maybe didn't shut down, but your conscious mind stopped its cognition. You're unaware of your thought processes in your sleep. And memories, when you wake up, are reloaded. Um, if you've ever woken up and thought for a moment, where am I? How did I get here? Uh, well, it happens more as you get older, especially in college. But anyway, if you get to the situation where you go, wait a minute, okay, that's right. I'm at a friend's house. I slept on the couch. That's right. I'm in the hospital. I had my wisdom teeth out, and I got an infection, and I had to go in. You have something that explains the gap in your memory, or sometimes it's, yeah, I went to bed last night, and now it's morning, and my alarm goes off, and I get ready for school. You assume that your body just lay there on your bed, doing dreamy things, and that maybe you snored, maybe you kicked the covers off. You may even have gotten up, stumbled to the bathroom, gotten a glass of water, stumbled back to bed. But you're really not forming active memories. Multiply this by 5,000 times, and you have the gaps. So sleeping and dreaming seem to be an important part of this concept of self. So we're going to break from philosophy for a moment, and I'm going to direct you to a crash course on psychology, specifically the psychology of sleep and dreams. Again, we've got Hank with the crash course team. I think he does a nice job explaining basically what sleeping and dreaming are and a little bit of history about how we know about them. So in today's email, you have a link for this video as well. That is the last thing I need you to do today. So please go to Crash Course Psychology video number 9 on sleeps and dreams. And if you have not done so already, make sure you update the Ship of Theseus Padlet. We will be doing additional Padlet updates later this week. Thank you.